Yeah, this is my post-fight video for the fight over this past weekend. It's Andre Berto versus Victor Ortiz for Berto's WBC welterweight belt. Uh, Ortiz won via unanimous decision. It was a great fight. Uh, I got it wrong. I predicted that Berto would win by decision or late stoppage. I don't understand Berto's strategy. Maybe it was, you know, once maybe it was just the way the fight played out, and he just didn't adapt well to what Ortiz was doing, or maybe like he said, it just wasn't him in there Saturday. But I don't know. I was excited about this fight because there was questions that I've had about Berto and Ortiz. I've thought, other than Luis Collazo, I've never really seen Berto tested, and I've always thought first of all, I was like, okay, well, more than me, but a lot of people have criticized him for not stepping up and taking real challenges. So I always thought, when he is finally in there with someone who has just as much power as him, who has pretty decent speed, someone who's not afraid of him, who's gonna be there when he land those big shots. They're not going nowhere. What's he gonna do then? Well, I found out he's a warrior. He showed some heart in that fight. So even though he lost, to me, he won. Because he showed me more in that fight than he did in all the other fights that he blew guys out. Ortiz, I mean, does this finally erase that night he had when he submitted to Maidana and the comments that he had after that fight? I mean, a lot of people questioned it. A lot of the media, a lot of fans questioned his heart. Said he was a quitter. I just thought that he would lose his fight because I felt like Berto would do what he's done, in his other fights. If he can't get you out of there, the first half of the fight, the second half, he throws less combinations, plays it safe, boxes from the outside, uses that jab, and then maybe a 1-2 behind it or just a straight right. But he's going to jump in and clinch whenever he's done. He's not going to let you get off. I felt like he could dictate the fight. I felt like he would make Ortiz fight that same kind of fight, but Ortiz wasn't having it. I thought the only way Ortiz was going to combat that was to keep Berto occupied with a jab and not this rangefinder stuff where he just sticks his arm out there. They even mentioned on the during the fight that Ortiz only landed 2 jabs in his last fight against Lamont Peterson. That's unheard of to me, for a professional fighter. But he does what he does, and I mean, he made it work. I also felt like if he had any chance, he was going to have to land something big early to gain Berto's respect, and that's exactly what he did. I mean, the first knockdown was a rude slip, but the replay, it was clearly he kind of hit him on the side of the head, and Berto went down. But that first time that Ortiz landed, he landed like a right hook, kind of on the side of Berto's guard, and then that straight left. And I saw a look on Berto's face I had never seen. Like, okay, what am I gonna do? He staggered back into the ropes. Ortiz started flurrying with combinations, and Berto took a knee. And at that point, I was thinking, Ortiz gonna punch himself out because he went after him the whole round. But by the end of the round, I felt like, okay, maybe Berto had his legs back. Well, it turned out for the next couple rounds, he fought off the ropes. And by the third or fourth round, Berto was out there, you know, against the ropes, motioning Ortiz in with his mouth open. And I'm thinking, man, I think he's gassed. You know, I don't. I mean, I thought that he had recovered from the first round, but he just looked gassed. I mean, his punch output was way down. I don't know if and his strategy, if he had one, just went out the window. I mean, he just resorted to just trying to land one big shot. You know, during really the whole fight. I mean, I was thinking, okay, once he did it for maybe like once round 3 rolled around and he's still fighting, you know, most of the round, laying on the ropes, I was like, either he's trying to get Ortiz to gas himself out or punch himself out, or he trying to, you know, set him up, you know, to land something big. But I don't understand that strategy because, you know, when you just sitting there letting Ortiz tee off, he was landing uppercuts, he was smothering him, he wasn't letting Berto get off, and Berto just didn't have any answers. So, you know, Berto is a warrior. We found that out, but he doesn't adjust well. I mean, he never, every time when I feel like Berto would do his thing, you know, shoot his combinations or straight right, clinch and hold, let the ref break it up, do it again. But as soon as the ref would break it up, Ortiz would be right back in his chest with his head in his chest, you know, ripping shots around his guard, uppercuts, and I think that was slowly wearing Berto down. I mean, Berto was having some looks on his face during some of that fight where, you know, it was like, I just don't have it tonight. But, you know, the 6th round, Berto started to sort of, it looked like he was getting his legs back because he took the fight to the center of the ring and he caught Ortiz with a shot. It was almost like they both kind of out of position. Ortiz was turned around and was about to, you know, get himself set again, and from nowhere, Berto landed that straight right, and he had KO all over that punch. And I thought Ortiz was done. You know, the way he hit the canvas. But he got up. You know, he was trying to buy time. Berto landed another power shot. And I said, oh, man, he's one punch away from this fight being stopped. But he weathered the storm. And then he caught Berto with a hook, you know, with a couple seconds left in the round. I mean, that to me has to be the round of the year so far. I know a lot of people going to say that Berto was exposed. Well, I've already heard some people say that. But, you know, what exactly did Ortiz expose? I mean, we knew that he didn't have, you know, these great technical skills. You know, his fundamentals have never been great. He's always used his speed and power. You know, those are his 2 main assets. So we just found out that he doesn't adjust well, and his defense is flawed. But we knew that. So it's not like he got dominated. What I already knew, Ortiz confirmed it. Berto does not do well with the southpaw, with the straight left hand, just like Collazo and Quintana caught him. His defense is spotty, and he gets out of position a lot. You know, if I did it on the video, I said for my prediction that he had decent footwork, but when I went back and looked at 2 of his fights, I noticed that he does get out of position a lot. I mean, so he didn't really get exposed to me. I mean, because some of the same things that I felt like he was deficient, it showed up in the fight. So, but overall, it was a great fight. Ortiz showed his grit when he could have folded in that 6th round. He didn't. He was rocked with a lot of big right hands, and he just walked through them. and if he went down, he got up, and he was just not going to be denied. So, you know, I salute him, but I salute both fighters really. It was a great fight, and I can't wait to see, you know, what they both gonna have to do something to improve their defense. But you know, I can't wait to see, you know, how Berto gonna bounce back, and what Ortiz gonna do from here.